Well everyone, once again it's time to get over the barrier. Trails to Azure will finally be officially releasing in the West next week, and thankfully NIS America was kind enough to provide me with a copy of the game on Steam a few weeks ago, so much love to them. However, today I won't be spoiling the story or anything like that. I'll save that for when we finish our retrospectives on Trails 3rd and Trails from Zero. So today I want to talk about the release itself and how this port compares to Trails from Zero's port. I also want to make clear why this game is so important, what it truly sets out to do, and why it's absolutely worthy of your time. So with that, let's begin. So as a bit of background to go off of, Trails to Azure is the sequel to Trails from Zero, serving as the conclusion to the ever-elusive Crossbell arc of the grander Trails series narrative. So like I mentioned earlier, this is the first time these two games are actually releasing here overseas. Back when the game was new, we were only just then getting the very first game in the series, Trails in the Sky First Chapter, and after the efforts of localizing the first 3 games, Falcom had already begun releasing the third arc of the series, that being the Cold Steel games, and at the time it just didn't seem wise to take on multiple more years to localize 2 more PSP games when the system would be long dead by the time they were done. So that's why they opted to just skip straight to localizing the Cold Steel games, despite the Crossbell arc being extremely important to the overall narrative. And while some may say you can get away with playing the first couple Cold Steel games without knowledge of things prior, I'm sure many experienced in some capacity a sort of disconnect with the appearance of certain characters and their history. So that's a big reason why I feel these 2 games releasing is so important for those looking to get into the franchise now. Things aren't perfect, of course. We're still missing the Sky games on consoles, but at least as of right now, fans looking to pick up the series can play through its entirety on Steam without having to skip any games. And to me, when it comes to a heavily narrative-driven game, I always prefer to play them in release order, so that way elements of their stories can have their full impact on me with no sort of disconnect. If you've been following this channel, you should also know that I've been playing through these games for the first time, and am actually on Azure now, meaning every minute I'm making this video is another minute away from the game. So let's mention a few things some of you may be interested in knowing. As per usual, Azure also allows you to import your save data from Trails from Zero, so your decisions can carry over into this new game. This largely just affects dialogue situations. For example, fulfilling a quest in Trails from Zero will have moments from said quest referenced in Trails to Azure. Alongside this, some decisions made in that last game will allow whole new conversations to become available, where if you didn't import your save data, they simply wouldn't happen. This isn't a deal breaker by any means, but when narratively the game makes you feel so interconnected with its world, this is just a further addition to that feeling. But even so, because of this, I'd still recommend you play Azure wherever you played Zero at, because any additional story that can be had is worth it in my opinion. Gameplay wise, there's a couple of things that I think also make this game another step forward for the series. One of those changes being the addition of Master Quartz. So what's different about Master Quartz in comparison to the series' regular quartz is that these ones are unique and only one of each is obtainable in the game. They're equipped in their own special slots and they have the ability to gain experience, level up, and improve their stats and abilities. When a selected character, like Lloyd here, equips a Master Quartz, I'll just do Force here, it allows Lloyd to gain its passive ability of raising his strength stat by 25% for 2 turns at the start of every battle. And every Master Quartz has some kind of ability, and I think it makes things really fun because it adds an additional element of strategy to battles, since now I have to think about what Master Quartz best suits each of my party members. If one of my party members excels at magic usage, it's kind of a waste to use the Force Master Quartz on them, you know? While out on the field, the ambush system makes its return here too, where if you can catch an enemy off guard and hit them with a field attack, ambushing them afterwards will give your party an advantage at the start of battle. And just like in Zero, it's practically always a good idea to do this, since it helps the battles end faster and you open yourself up to more bonuses on the turn orders. I feel I never really covered this in my retrospectives of the first 2 games, but this has been a thing since the very first game. But like in Zero, the team rush attacks also make a return here. When the corresponding teammate's turn arrives, you're able to initiate a team rush, having all your party members go for an all-out attack on the enemy. It's a great way to wrap things up quickly too. Other bonuses still make an appearance, like small HP and EP restorations alongside critical hit turns too. And I know it's not much of a spoiler because it's on the key art, it's in the trailers, heck, it's on the Steam page where you go buy the game at. But you'll be having some new main characters to play around with in battle this time around, some of which may have been playable for a short time in Zero, but if I'm honest, I'll get around to it when I get to my Zero retrospective. But I've never really been big on replacing my main cast with guest characters in RPGs, even temporarily, because that can lead to a lot of missed EXP for characters that I'll still be primarily using in battle. But there's also this reason that narratively in my head, it kind of makes me feel bad for making one of my homies have to sit on the sidelines when we've been fighting side by side all this time. I know it's lame, but I can't help it. But I am happy they returned here as full-fledged party members, and I've had fun experimenting with their gameplay styles. I know I said I wouldn't cover the story in this video, and I meant it, but I do want to say that those who may just be hearing about the Trails series now, or maybe this video is what finally convinced you to give the games a go, but I have to address the elephant in the room. During my Trails journey, I noticed that there are two kinds of Trails games, setup games and payoff games, and Trails to Azure being the finale of the Crossbell arc makes it the latter. So I couldn't possibly recommend this game as a standalone experience or your first Trails game, if you want to have a positive experience, that is. They don't go back and recap everything that happened in the last game. It moves forward assuming you've already experienced it. So if you do plan to pick up this game, I'd recommend keeping it in your backlog until you finish Zero. That way you can fully appreciate it. Because some of the things you'll see will mean everything to someone with that previous game knowledge, and I'd hate for you to have a lesser experience because of this fact. But the game looks great with its updated texture work, the voice acting is superb as always, the music makes me love that I'm alive to experience it, and all the bells and whistles like the speed up button, text logs, remappable buttons for keyboard and controller users, and a maximum of 144 FPS on PC, I'm loving everything about this port. And that was kind of expected with how solid Zero's was, especially since I played it after its few updates, like updated water effects, which are also here in Azure. But please, play the Trails games. You will not be disappointed with the incredible experience you'll be embarking on. With the release of Azure, another arc comes to a close. At long last, the story of these games can be fully appreciated around the world, allowing us to love the later games even more with all details finally within our grasp. Much love to NIS America for letting me play the game early. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you feel like it, or don't subscribe if you don't. But I hope you all enjoy your day. See ya!